Action! Activate!
Hello and welcome. It's me, Gazbot, and this is Action Activate. And if I'm Gazbot and this is Action Activate, well then with me as always.
It's the big dog here in my Superboy attire with the Cuckoo Kangaroo Gazbot to talk about the Heritage auction for Power Rangers items. Now, Gazbot talked about this last week. If you haven't checked that out, go check out his thoughts before doing this. This is like a part 2, if you will, because we haven't formally talked about it pretty much at all. And stuff has come out since Gaz talked about it. So why don't you start and then I'll jump in after your recap.
Well, I gave my thoughts, which was sort of like, wow, there's a lot more available than I thought there was going to be almost every season. There's big and small. And because of the size of the fandom, which we like to believe is infinite, but it's not that big, like there's a chance with this many items, you could get stuff for cheap, relatively cheap. That's, relative term. We don't know what minimum bids are. They could be $500, $1,000.
I think it is 500.
It could be that somebody said that I saw somewhere, but I don't know where they got that number from. That wasn't officially announced as far as I could see. Today is the 15th. I think everything goes live the 18th. I mean, it's live that you can look at it now, but bid upon. All that being said, I basically was just like, wow, this is crazy. And look at all this stuff you can get and good luck, everybody. And we talked about a few things and like, hey, maybe we'll go in together on something if there's like a few things and what are you looking at and that kind of stuff. That was it. We didn't talk about it again. We were getting ready to record today. And Big Dog's like, hey, before we start, Heritage. And I said, you know what? Stop. Let's record. Because it's not as straightforward as it once was. Let's say that. We're not a controversy channel, but I think we could talk about this without being super inflammatory or anything like that.
Yeah. So recently, multiple Power Ranger actors have come out saying their feelings on the auction. Some are indifferent, some are against it, some are very sour against it.
I don't know if they are 100% against it. I think that might be a mischaracterization. I think some are like, hey, why didn't you give it to the actors or the stunt people?
I'm not naming names, so some are against it and more vocal than others. Anywho.
Well, let me just say, because maybe you saw something I did, just to be for clarity. I haven't seen any Ranger actor say, this is terrible, they should not have an auction. They haven't literally said that. I've seen negative takes on it, but have you seen someone literally be like, this should not happen, this is terrible?
I believe so, but I don't remember who, and even if I did, I wouldn't say anyway.
No, we don't need to name names and stuff. You can find this stuff out if you care.
But the curveball, though. The curveball is multiple actors have said, I am going to bid on X items from my season. And Power Morphicon has officially gotten involved and done posts saying, the two examples I know of are Hunter Dino says she wants her Red Ranger costume with the hammer. Hey guys, if you want to be cool, don't bid on it. Brendan Mejia, who you saw in the intro, who we very much like. Not that we don't like Hunter Dino, but like we've talked to him personally.
No, we have an intro. Well, I've talked to Hunter. You haven't, I guess.
I have not talked to Hunter, but I've talked to Brendan, and so have you. He wants 2 of his suits, and one of them is really cool. And not that I was going to bid on it, but now I'm not, and it's a sigh of relief.
And also, again, to name names in a not like negative way. Yoshi Sidarso, Dino Charge Blue. Also, these are people who specifically said like, hey, I want to get my suit. And he even said, and I think Scott from Power Morphicon, I don't know if they're teaming up to like make the same list, but they're like, we're going to make lists of actors that want them, whatever. And it's tricky because the fandom, like when this was announced, aside from this is really the end of Power Rangers, which is like, yeah, but what? Like this is a symptom of the end of Power Rangers. This isn't causing, like, there's no, like it's done in its current incarnation, having nothing to do with the auction. Then, since it's done, we're going to sell all this stuff. And there's some people that are like, oh, I hope Japan's not upset. And like, there's other things we don't know about behind the scenes, whatever. This is just a company that's like, we're not going to do this anymore. We want to get this out of our warehouse. Now, most fans agree. It would have been cool if they gave these suits to the actors, the stunt people, the cast, the crew. Why not? But that's not what's happening. Hasbro's a business; they can make some money, and logistically, like, yeah, maybe when the cast leaves, they should have given their suits. But are they going to hunt down every actor and cast member and crew member?
Yeah.
It would cost them money as opposed to making the money, and they are a business. Like it or not, that's what they are.
Yeah.
Most people agree it's better that they get in the hands of fans, collectors, whatever, than rot in a warehouse to be thrown away. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's any actors that are like, I wish nobody, like everybody agrees, get them out of this warehouse, get them into the world so they can be preserved.
I have seen posts similar to Indiana Jones of they belong in a museum from people. So,
and if I had, I think I said, or somebody said, like, if you have enough money, or if I had enough money, I would love to buy not all of it, but you could buy enough to have a museum. You absolutely could get a couple complete teams or one from each team, and that would be great. The hope is anybody that gets it is going to treat it well and preserve it until they eventually sell it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, the curveball to all of this, because there's a lot of opinions and things. But generally, my take on it is like, oh, a company is selling a bunch of their old props, and that happens all the time. That's like the objective truth. What usually doesn't happen is that the actors are like, hey, I want to get these. Now, I think it's fine that the actors want to get them. I actually think agree that the actors should have got them when they left the show, or at some other time that would have been great. It's tricky now because I'm trying not to be inflammatory, but like we've all seen, you and I, and probably the people watching this have seen things that people are saying. Some are sort of like, I don't know. Is that really, I want a bit of my thing, all the way up to like this, you're a bad person, actor X for saying this. And it's tough because I don't think anybody involved is a bad person. I don't think anybody's done anything where I'm like, well, I don't like them now. But I don't think it's a very black and white issue personally.
In terms of what?
In terms of, okay, let's just say there's a Ranger actor that says they want their suit. Yep. I think it's fine for them to say that. I think it's fine for Power Morphicon to say, hey, they want their suit. It'd be cool if we didn't bid on it. That being said, if somebody bids on that suit that isn't that actor and wins it, I don't want them to be vilified. I don't think it's,
I agree.
And it's also a thing of, some actors have literally said they want their suits, but then others have been like, all actors want all their, and there's some actors that don't. And then like, you have to do your research to figure out if you could bid on a suit. And like, so it's a little bit hinky there where I don't want anybody to have negative repercussions for buying a prop because of any reason. And I don't think actors have said that either, but it's sort of implied. And it's
very implied. And that's where it gets a little wonky.
Yeah.
I think, to me, the curveball too with Power Rangers specifically is I understand from taking yourself out of the equation. You worked on a project. You want something that you were in, like that you wore, that you were on screen with. I get that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these actors and actresses, I don't think are going to win their stuff. Just straight up. I don't think that's going to happen for everybody. I think some will. I think some won't. The silver lining is that unfortunate for them? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But there are so many people in the Ranger community that make cosplays that are better than the show. It's not like it's a one and done. It's not like
it can never be reproduced in some
way. Like I'm trying to think of an example, but okay, here's the only thing that I thought of in the last half second. Baby from Supernatural, the car. It'd be kind of hard to get another Impala. That would be difficult.
Not impossible.
Not impossible, but it'd be difficult. That's tens of thousands of dollars to get a reproduction if you wanted to.
Yes, that's
a fair. Suit, couple grand.
Well, and I feel like this video is going to be longer because I keep thinking of things I want to add to it.
Go for it.
Because you're right. It is a tricky, here's the 2 points. Specifically the idea of this is a suit that I wore on this show when it means something to me. Get that. 100% get that. In some cases, I want to say a lot. I don't actually know, but I feel like in a lot, but let's say in some cases, I can safely say in some cases, the suits being sold are not the suits that these actors wore. They might have been worn by the stunt actor. They might have been worn by a Japanese actor. They may never have worn this suit.
They could have been promotional suits.
They've been promotional suits. They're official suits that may or may not have been on television, may or may not have been in their season. So there's no guarantee this is even the one they wore. Mm-hmm. That being said, it is a thing where a fan-made suit, could be gotten cheaper, fit them perfectly, be in perfect condition. And that's important because to flip the other way, there's a lot of people that are very upset, like, oh, they're just going to buy them and wear them to conventions to charge more money and blah 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 blah. And I saw some YouTuber talking about Johnny Young Bosch wearing like the black movie suit recently to charge more for pictures. Now, I do think if a Ranger actor or anybody dresses up or does something extra, they're entitled to charge more because they're giving you more value.
Yeah.
We were going to get a picture with a Ranger actor at Morphicon specifically because they were going to be in costume. Didn't work out. Fine. Yeah. But Johnny Young Bosch, as far as I know, that was not his movie suit. That was a fan reproduction that looked good. It wasn't like, I mean, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm 99.9% sure he didn't have the 90s vintage suit in perfect condition and then was willing to wear it out to an event. Like, that would be madness. Do you know better, or you just?
I thought it was, but it could have been just marketing getting in my brain about. Either answer I accept and wouldn't be shocked.
Well, okay, let me flip it a different way. I have seen other actors, and I don't want to name names because they might be actors that are involved in this current thing that are talking.
Go for it.
Okay, I have seen other actors do in-suit appearances. And I do know for a fact those were not their screen-worn suits. They were fan-made suits that are very good, just as good, if not better. Yeah. And they charge more for those pictures. Again, I think that's fine. Yeah. I think people have the right to do whatever they want and charge whatever they want. But even just on a base level, as someone who might buy a picture, sure, charge more for that. That makes sense to me because you got to be in spandex or whatever all day. That makes perfect sense. So the people that are like, they just want these so they can charge more money at conventions, I think that's ridiculous. I do not think that's a thing at all. I think maybe they want to put it next to them at a show. Maybe they want to have it in their house. There's a million reasons why they might want it. I think very few, if any, of these Ranger actors are looking to make money off of getting this.
I don't wholly disagree with that, but I think going from like collector logic, I could see it being a thing. This isn't going to be a cheap date.
Yeah.
Where the suit's going to be expensive, especially if they're bidding against other people. And part of the mental incentive is, well, I'm going to recoup some of that because I'm going to wear this at cons because why wouldn't I?
No. You think, well, okay.
Yes. I'm not saying it in like a money hungry way. I'm saying
no.
Like a justification of it.
I'm on a different thread.
Okay.
I don't think you're saying these are greedy people. I understand what you're saying. Your premise, okay, I'll say it back to you to make sure I understand. Sure. Your premise is, I'm a Power Ranger actor. I was the Black Foo-Foo Ranger. I get my Black Foo-Foo suit. It happens to actually be the one I wore, not a stunt person, so it still does fit me because I'm also still in the shape I was 20 years ago. Great. I'm going to take this, fly to LA or Florida or wherever, wear it in photo shoots and charge double what I would normally charge.
I'm not saying double. I'm
saying, yeah. And not just out of pure greed, but like, hey, this cost me, $5,000. I want to kind of recoup some of those costs. All of that is fair. I don't think it's a realistic scenario. Here's why. Again, it has to have been literally their suit, not one of the other people who might have worn it. Because you hear about a lot of these, some people being skinnier, heavier, taller, shorter. So will it fit? Then what condition is it in? They could put it on and rip a seam immediately just because it's 20 years old. Then they're going to travel with it, not mounted on a mannequin at their booth, which would make more sense to me, but wearing it and putting wear and tear on it and maybe ruining it when, again, they could get a suit cheaper that would look better and do the same thing.
I could see them repairing it, though, if they owned it and damage happened to it after the fact.
If it was me and I got my original suit back, I would take it and I would put it in my house somewhere in a climate controlled
like a bat cave.
Yeah, like on a mannequin or somewhere cool. And then maybe if there was a local show, I'd bring it and put it at my booth, like again on a mannequin or in a case of some sort. But if I wanted to appear in costume, I would buy a costume and use that.
I think that's a personal preference, though. If I were in those shoes, I would put it on, assuming everything was equal.
Risking the wear and tear and damage of, even if it's good now, it's not going to be necessarily.
Yeah, because here's the other thing. Depending on the suits, I think you're thinking of it from like Mighty Morphin era. I'm thinking of it more like Netflix era.
I'm thinking of any era. I mean, like even something.
I'm thinking more recent. I'm thinking that the newer suits, or Beast Morphers or whatever. I think those suits were made a little more durable because they learned, hey. Instead of churning through a bunch of these cheap suits, let's make them a little more durable so we don't have to switch it between takes.
Maybe so. I still think it would be weird because the intrinsic value is that it is original. It was on the screen. If you could get one that looks nearly identical, why risk the value of the special one? Because Beast actors, I've seen lots of shots of them in Beast Morpher suits that are indistinguishable from what they were on television, but we know those are reproductions. So why would they risk
because it wasn't an option at the time. Think of it like up until this point and this current season where maybe they I don't think they had behind the scenes info clearly, but because if they did, I think some people would have swooped them beforehand. But
sure, yeah.
But I think, you know, you go back a couple years and you're on the show, however many years we go back, you're on the show, the time's over. You know, I started doing cons. You know, I want to dress up in the suit. Yeah, I'm going to go get one because obviously I can't get it. It's locked in the Power Ranger vault.
Right.
But now, you know, it's like, hey, you can get the suits. Like, you know what? Yeah, like for me, if I was in those shoes, I would have that suit. I would wear it. And if anything happened to it, I'm not trying to sell it. So I would just patch it up.
Okay, let's say, I think you could even have just some fan spill a cappuccino on you or something. You have no idea what's going to happen. But
I think you're more worried that it's going to be ruined. And I'm like, that one's mine. It has sentimental value to me. Yeah, I got to pay up for it. But yeah, I'm going to wear it. Why wouldn't I?
Even if I have sentimental value, that would make me want to protect it even more. You know,
you're being an in-box collector and I'm being an out-of-box collector with these suits is all I'm hearing.
No, because I mean, obviously I'm an out-of-box collector, but
you can't damage it. It has to stay inside. You can't touch it. It's got to stay there forever. And I'm like, yeah, wear it out, whatever.
You know what it is? If there was no other option, I could see that. But let's say the minimum bids on these are 500, and let's say nobody bids on it, and so they get their suit for 500. You could get a new suit for not too much more than that. So why not just get the new suit? And
because that one's mine, dude.
I just don't understand that logic. And I'm betting most Rangers would be on my wavelength. Because
I think Brendan Mejia, if he wins the one with all the accoutrement, he's going to wear that at a con.
Maybe, but not the basic spandex because he already has a repro. So why would he?
Then your argument's moot. You're saying, well, he's not going to wear it because he already has one. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That doesn't matter.
On top, and maybe I am thinking of the older ones that are like more threadbare, more likely to fall apart. But okay, let's we're kind of not going to agree on this exact point here.
Yeah.
But I guess my general thing is there's people that are saying Rangers are only wanting these suits so they can make money.
I don't think that's true at all.
I don't think so either. You think maybe they would recoup it, maybe they'd wear it, you know, to help.
I'm thinking if I were in their shoes. Something to help me personally justify the purposes. I'm going to wear this at a con, charge an extra $5 a photo. Eventually it'll pay for itself.
Right. Okay. But we both agree that we don't think most, if not all of the Rangers, they're not trying to make money off this. They just want their suit.
I don't think it's financially driven. Yeah. Especially because of the people that we've heard. I'm just going to use Hunter and Brendan as examples. Right. They, outside of this specific week-long debacle, have been very vocal about Power Rangers and their time on Power Rangers. Yeah. It's very clear they're passionate about their time on it and their, you know, their time in the fandom and like their impact. That's why them speaking out about it. I'm like, yeah, like Brendan Mejia, where it's like, hey, don't bid on this one. It's really cool and has all the. I'm like, yeah, of course you would want that. Everything I've heard from talking to you, everything you post online, it's like, yeah, you love the show and you really want that one because it's just really cool.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So we agree on that point.
Yeah.
I also think. Well, I'm going to switch a little bit because we agree as much as we can, and there's no point in being that.
Well, we're beating. Let's move on.
One of the other issues I've seen multiple times on multiple social media, I saw it with the Power Morphicon post, I saw it with the Hunter Dino post, and a few other things, where there's a argument about messaging, let's say, or the way the message is being delivered and what it means. I see. I'm going to really boil this down and dumb it down and paraphrase to the account of the person or entity saying, hey, let's be nice and not bid on these so the actors can get them. And people in the comments be like, F you, I won't do what you tell me. How dare you tell me how to spend my money? You can't command me to do X, Y, and Z. And then the other person being like, I never said you couldn't. I'm saying I'm asking us to all be nice. And again, this is where I see both sides of it. I don't think anybody needs to be nasty. I think the comments that are like flipping out, nobody needs to be doing that. But I understand where the people are like, you know, I don't owe you anything. You're not entitled to tell me what to do with my money. Blah, blah, blah. If they're nice about it, fine. But what I don't like is when people try to do the thing backpedal of like, oh, I'm not telling you what to do. It's like, if this comes back to the stigma that's like, okay, I am not going to bid on Hunter Dino's Red Cosmic Fury. It's not what I wanted anyway. I'm absolutely not bidding on it.
Yeah.
But let's say I wanted it. And then she comes out and says, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we didn't bid on this? That's the same as saying, don't bid on this. And then Power Morphicon's like, hey, let's be nice, not bid on this. That's the same as saying, don't bid on this, because if you bid on it and or win, and anybody in the fandom finds out about it, you're a jerk. And you're not gonna have a good time if people find out at a convention, if Hunter sees you, like, oh, thanks. You know, like, I don't know how good or bad it will be, but there's this semantical thing of like, I never said don't do this, but you did. It doesn't matter what words you said, you know? And so I don't think anybody should be vilified for doing this. I do think it'd be nice if we could all, be nice and try to let the actors have it. But it is a weird, like, trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Power Rangers, for better or worse, is a very passionate and divisive fan base where people will do things that are objectively bad and people won't care about it. And people will do things that aren't objectively bad and think they're terrible for it. Like it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. So it's just going to be what it's going to be. To me, just speaking objectively and from my own feelings, anybody who wants anything from this auction, go for it. Yes, keep in mind if other people want it, but kind of like you said, if you want it too, it's a free country, go for it, man, or whoever. But like for this, like for us, we're personally not going to go for it. But if you do, I don't think you're a villain.
In full disclosure, it's easy for me to say this because this isn't something I wanted.
Yeah.
I haven't looked. I've seen a lot of the ones that people are being asked not to bid on. I haven't like all the big ones that everybody knows. I know there might be others on there, but I'm lucky enough that I don't think I've seen any that I was like, oh no, I thought I'd bid on that one. If it's one that I was really thinking about bidding on, then I'd have a little bit more of what am I going to do about it? Like, I got to think about
like
what
I put myself in those shoes, and without diving into anything we may or may not bid on, if somebody came out and was like, hey, I really want to get this whole team's worth of morphers, don't bid on it, I'm going to bid on it if I want to. Like, I just, hey, I heard you. I acknowledge your feelings. I'm bidding on it because I want them. Like, whatever.
And again, people may or may not agree with you should or shouldn't do that, but it doesn't, it's such a subjective thing. This isn't like stealing. This isn't like murder. It's not something we could all agree on very easily. It's a gray area, which is what I said in the beginning. And because of that, I don't think anybody on any side should be vilified.
Yeah.
We're all, whatever. And here's the other thing. And again, a lot of this is stuff that you could have seen elsewhere. We're just kind of parsing it and talking about it together.
Yeah.
Even if you, let Brennan Mejia again, because somebody that specifically said, even if Brennan says, please don't bid on these certain items, and nobody does, what if it's $500, $1,000 to start, and he doesn't have that kind of money, or he's like, oh, I thought it'd be cheaper, and then he doesn't bid on it, and then nobody gets it, or 99% of people don't bid on it, but one person does, and then they get it for $1 more than he would have spent, and they get it for 1,001, and you or I was like, oh, I had $2,000. No, to be clear, I don't have $2,000, and I don't want to. But I'm just, for example, like, oh,
I know what you're saying.
$1,000 for that. Now I didn't get it, and some other person got it for 1,001, and Brendan didn't even get it. So, and then it starts to be a thing too, where this is kind of rumor, this is kind of speculation, but I feel like there are some actors that aren't going to bid, but have said like, oh, it'd be nice to have my suit. And people are like, don't bid on their suit. They're not saying I have $1,000. I'm going to bid on my suit. Please don't. They're not even saying that. So there could be people like not bidding on items that aren't even going to be bid on by the actors. And on the flip side, I see people saying, oh, they're asking people to buy them stuff. Nobody has asked anybody to buy them.
Yeah. That I want to make perfectly clear. Yeah. No person has asked for free stuff from this auction.
And in fact, a few people have clarified, like, I'm not asking anybody to buy me anything. So could a fan out of the goodness of their heart decide to buy it and give it to an actor? Sure. And that is their right. And I have no problem with that. But
whatever.
No one has asked anyone to buy anything for them, period. At least as of today.
To me, similar but different topic. The thing for me as a fan, and again, we've already established the fans in this fandom are very passionate and have very different feelings. But to me, as a fan, if they're like, the term grail gets thrown around a lot in the collecting community. Sure. This auction, I truly feel like are grails. So it's hard. It's hard for people to say, hey, the actor who wore this and had the opportunity to be a part of the fandom, be on screen and wear these suits, wants to have them back, but you can't because you love that Ranger. The show affected you in that part of your life and helped you get through a hard time. And if you could ever have one thing of Power Rangers, it's X thing that you're fortunate enough to have money for. Like, that to me is the part that's really frustrating, where it's like the villainizing, like you said, like, why would you be like I'm trying really hard not to swear. Why would you be rude and say that someone's a villain for getting the one thing they want? Maybe they don't have cases full of Lightning Collection figures, but you know what? They'd have one little space where they have their signed photo with the Ranger of the team of their favorite season, and they have that morpher, that helmet, and they're done. Like, you can't say they're a bad person because somebody else was like
the Lightning Collection and want that to be their grail, their center.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, you can't call somebody bad when obviously we all love Power Rangers, and you're like, well, I love it differently because I'm not willing to go against a Ranger. Like, no, that's just semantics. Like, it's so dumb.
And it is a thing too where, like, I am sympathetic to the nostalgic value. I am sympathetic to, like, this is the actual one on the show.
Yeah.
But I saw some of the actors talked about what they might use it for and like where they would go, or they wanted to give it to somebody or display it in a certain way. And again, yes, the actual prop from the actual show is better in a lot of ways that are mostly intangible, but we all understand emotionally. However, like, yeah, if I was in Star Wars as a stormtrooper, would I love to have the suit I wore? Yes. If not that, would I love to have one from the movie I was in? Yes. If not any but push come to shove, if I wanted to commemorate that, I could pay and get a stormtrooper and put it on that mannequin and put it in the shelf or give it to my dad or what, whatever the thing is that I want to do with it. Going to your point, it's not like it's unachievable if you can't get the original. Like it's the actual item is a one of a kind grail because it was on TV. It was worn by that actor. It was worn at this time. But like Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, you could get Luke Skywalker's lightsaber in a million different ways. Now, yeah, maybe there's only like 5 actual ones, but like I don't think Mark Hamill has one, and I think he's okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's tough.
I think just kind of bringing all of the different topics we've talked about together. I think some people at the end of this auction are going to be so happy they could cry, and some people are going to be so frustrated or sad they could cry. And unfortunately, both are going to happen. But at the end of the day, this is something that really is only going to happen once. And the fact that it's even happening, I think so many emotions, both good and bad, coming from this are because we're all in disbelief that it's actually a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just worry, like, I mean, I just worry there's so much strife and negativity going on and nothing's happened yet. People are just angry about people saying stuff. And like, some actor that wanted a thing. And here's the thing. I don't imagine any actor not getting what they want and be like, you guys, like, no, they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
They'll probably like whatever they feel internally, they're going to be professional and they're going to, whatever. And I think most of them even will just be like a little disappointed, like, I don't think, my worry is that people on behalf of that person will then go on some kind of vendetta and like, I mean, it sounds like I'm being hyperbolic, but like, I really am worried like bad things are going to happen because of this.
I don't think anything seriously bad will happen. I think there's going to be a lot of.
I don't think there'll be like death threat. Well, who knows? Who knows? I worry that it's going to be a big negative thing.
I think what's going to happen is we're all getting very anxious due to the unknown. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to use a random example. The original Green Ranger suit is going to have a $50,000 price tag 10 minutes in, and people are going to go, well, I guess that's nothing to worry about anyway.
Right. And I think a lot of the really high priced items, like most of us talking about this, have no chance of getting any of this stuff anyway.
Yeah.
The hope that I have, that you have, that a lot of us have, is just that, like, because I don't know how auctions work.
Like, we'll find the niche thing that's under the radar.
There's this one prop that nobody noticed, and it's only $200, and like, and I think there's a chance that could happen, but maybe I'm crazy. Or, because if everything starts at opening bid of 1,000 plus, like most of us are just done right there, but I also think a lot of Ranger actors are done right there. Because that's another thing. I don't know the finances of every Ranger actor, and some financially are doing better than others. Some career-wise are doing better than others. Some have other careers that, whatever. But I did see so many people being like, these rich actors and these rich so-and-so. It's like, I don't think it's a secret. And I don't think I'm being mean to say the average Power Ranger actor is not rich by any means.
Yeah.
They're not, some of them are still acting, and like there's a few exceptions, but I think the average person that's saying, hey, I would like to get this, like, we'll go back to Hunter. I have no idea what her finances are, but I know that she's young in her career, and Power Rangers is the biggest thing she's done. And we know Power Rangers doesn't pay very well. So how much money could she possibly have? You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe she's a millionaire, maybe her parents are rich. I don't know. But the average people at these shows, are there because they like it, because they like interacting with the fans, and make a few extra bucks, So the idea that it's like a bunch of Brad Pitts and Julia Roberts running around with millions to spend, why don't they just buy us? I don't think that's the case, you know. So yeah, that's
yeah. For perspective, because I don't know if you heard about this, one set of auctions on Heritage that is ending or just ended was Game of Thrones, and the Iron Throne just sold for $1.5 million.
That doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me either. And then I was like, oh, well, if and I was doing the math, if Power Rangers is 10% as popular as Game of Thrones, and like doing the mental math, I'm like, right. Yeah, I'm never buying it. So,
because if it's 10% as popular, then that's 150,000 for like a huge major prop. So then for like a cheap side prop that nobody wants, that's like 10%. So it's $15,000. So it's like, that's still, yeah.
Yeah.
But they did, before this auction, there was just a Green Ranger or a White Ranger suit that sold for like $15,000, $50,000, something. What was that?
I don't know, but that seems reasonable.
Yeah, but this was, again, now we're just going into speculation about prices. Mighty Morphin is going to go for the most. Green and White Ranger, Red Ranger, they're going to go for the most. Like, so that's where I think, like, well, maybe I could get like a Lightspeed yellow costume or something, you know, something like random. And that's still probably wrong. I'm probably just wrong, you know, but that's the thought I have.
As you're talking, I'm going to see if I find past auctions.
Okay.
To see if there's any prices of stuff that sold. So keep on keeping on.
Okay. I will say, on the optimistic side, I haven't bought any. Well, that's not true. I have bought something, and it might have been Heritage. I have a couple pages of original comic book art, and they cost me a couple $100 each. And I haven't bought. I only have like 3, and this is years ago when I was. It doesn't matter. Anyway. Part of the reason I was able to get them as cheap as I was, because it wasn't like, let me get a Jack Kirby, let me get an original, you know, whatever. It was like, oh, this comic just came out within the last 10 years. It's not brand new. It's not super vintage. And they have like all the pages from 3 issues of it. And so I'd go through and like, oh, I could get one of these pages for relatively cheap because there's like 30 of them. It's not the most sought after thing. It's not the absolute best page in the book. And I got it for like $200. And so that's what I'm thinking of for Power Rangers. If you pick something kind of middle of the pack, you know, because you might be able to get a deal. That's where my head is.
So sobering reality. For context,
yes.
I'm going to send you this link so that you can share your screen. So Mighty Morphin stuff obviously is expensive. We're going to try to take that out of the equation.
Okay.
The Zeo Gold Staff from Zeo,
this is from a past auction that's already done.
Yeah, this is closed. This closed last December.
So
you can make it.
You might not know the answer to this. Was this from Hasbro as well, or is this just like private collections? Like, where'd this come from?
I think private collection, I think this is from. I think there was a person who was involved in earlier Saban era Power Rangers who sold stuff a while ago from their own collection. Anyways, this is the foam stunt Zeo Gold Staff. You can make an offer to the owner. Scroll down, you see it for $4,000.
Oh, and that looks like garbage too. Like that's an action, so you could be thrown off of a cliff and it'll like be okay. It's
So, yeah.
Well, okay. That is sobering. But I will say 2 things. Oh, okay, let's see the Austin St. John.
I think that was 12,000 or something.
Red Rabbit.
I think you have to sign in to see it.
Oh, okay.
But I think before it loaded, it showed me 12. Before it was like you have to sign in, so like a split.
No, it says November 12th, 2020. Sold for sign in or join free and quick. So, but that's an asking price. This one, make offer to owner of 4,000. Okay, Game Gear, other stuff.
So let's assume they got it for 3 and they're trying to make $1,000 on it. Like still, like you
correct. And I think we're all thinking we're going to get better deals than we will. But I do think there's a difference between a year ago, somebody being like, I've got like 5 props and here's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of props. And even though that's the foam staff, that's Austin St. John coming back as the Gold Ranger and Zeo. That is a lot of people's favorite Ranger. That's a prop you could hold. It's like a hero thing. It's not the same as like a communicator from some random season in the middle of the Disney era. You know what I mean? Like,
you're not wrong. I'm just saying, like, we all, myself included, I'm saying this mostly for myself.
Yeah.
You need to temper expectation. You can use you can get the screen worn Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie Billy communicator can make an offer to the owner of $4,400 or more.
Where you see that on the first page? I'm looking for it.
No, the second page. I'm scrolling. The Johnny Young Bosch one you can get for $6,400 or more.
Again,
yeah, a lot of movie stuff. It seems like
there's also a lot of comics and other things mixed into this link you sent me. Like
Oh, here you go. The owner of Karen Ashley's movie suit.
I'm gonna close this.
Is offering $13,000 or more.
Well, it's a good thing she doesn't think she's going to get her suit.
No, these are all past. These are all sold. Yeah. These are all past ones, and you can now try to buy it from the owner.
Okay, let's say this then. If it's not Mighty Morphin, and it's part of this big auction, and it's a suit, like that was going for what, $14,000? You said?
I think so. Oh, so the Karen Ashley one, yeah. It was. You can offer 14.
Okay, you can offer 14. So then maybe it's realistic to think you could get a random middle of the pack Ranger suit for $1,400. You think that's?
I think you're over 2,000, honestly.
Yeah.
I know where you're going with this. I think you're going to be gangbusting a little bit.
I'm going to be gangbusting.
I think if you are going for a suit for an off-peak season, you're not going to get out of there for less than $2,000. Then
I might not be getting a suit because
that's what I'm saying. Like, again, the sobering reality of this, the law of averages. So, either way, I'm very curious to see how this goes. I'm curious how long the bidding goes. I'm hoping it's not live. That will be terrible if it's live.
Oh, yeah, that would be terrible.
I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping it's for like a couple days or a week or something. Give people the weekend to figure it out. But either way, this is going to be a monumental event, good, bad, and in between for Power Rangers as a whole. And some people are going to be sad. Some people are going to be stoked.
I agree. And I can tell you're wrapping up, and I think that's a good idea because we've been talking for a while. But I want to throw a little curveball in here. Well, not a curveball, but just a thought I just had, because now that we're talking about how much these things might cost. Let's say there's an actor. Let's say some actors watching this right now. I doubt they are. But let's say Hunter Dino's watching this. And she's like, please don't bid on my Cosmic Fury because I'd like to get it. Fine. And she's thinking, I've got $2,000 to spend on this. And the opening bid is $5,000. And there's no way she's spending that. What I would like her to do, not for me, because I don't have $5,000.
Publicly say, I'm not going for this. Go nuts.
Yes, that's what I want to happen. Like, I want it to be any actor that is going to bid, say, I see the opening bid, I'm going to bid, I just bid, please don't bid against me. Or, you know what? It's way more than I thought it was going to be. Never mind. That I think would go a long way to help a lot of people.
Yeah. I think once this goes live, the social media Power Rangers environment is going to go cuckoo banana bread. Like, it's going to be just so much.
Well, and also there's a huge population of the fandom and people that are like fans, but not in the fandom, if that makes sense. Like, they're not going to conventions. They're not looking at, but we're like, oh, Power Rangers. And not just the Mighty Morphins, but somebody that grew up on like SPD and just like, oh, they have SPD auction. I never, they're not paying attention to the actor's social media. They're not paying attention to Power Morphagon. They just see an auction. So going back to like, even if everybody that heard this message says, I'm not going to bid, there's a huge bunch of people that have never heard the message.
I also think every casual person you're talking about is going to go, I remember growing up with SPD. Let me drop $5,000 in the suit that I remember fondly.
If they're rich. Right?
Yeah, no, you have such a weird corner case argument that isn't even closely applicable to anything.
Okay, well, there are people that are maybe less casual fans that aren't on message boards and aren't paying attention to what.
All I will say to wrap this up is, if anybody sees stuff that you think we'd want in that auction, just don't bid on it. It's easy.
or buy it for us.
Exactly. That'd be even better.
Fun to ask. Please buy me things.
We don't have Patreon. We've been waiting for this moment so that you can gift us exactly what we wanted from the show. Yes, I have been the Big Dog.
I continue to be Cuckoo Gazbot.
And to the power. See you guys later.
I gotta find the credits. I don't have it up. So
yeah, get the credits going. Hey, while I'm rambling, please subscribe 8 more people so we can hit 500.
That would be cool to hit 500. I would make a contest or a giveaway when we hit 500. I have Power Rangers related stuff to give away, and I'd be happy to do it. But I have had, both on my art channel and on the Power Rangers channel, nothing but not great experiences with giveaways.
Yeah.
I've had people basically be not interested. I've had people win and be like, I don't want it. I've had people, you know, like it. I don't know how giveaways are supposed to work, but I don't know how to work them. But if you think, if you're watching us, and you're like, I'd like you to give something away. You know, tell me how you'd like me to do it and what kind of thing you might want.
And then help us get to 600 subscribers, and Gaz will do it.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. It was like, it's not even like whatever the milestone wasn't the problem. We've hit those milestones once upon a time, and then it's like, what do you got? Nah, it's all right. You know, so I don't know. Like,
who knows?
I literally had a thing where like people would win, and I'd contact them, and they just wouldn't respond. So
hey, you know what they say? No matter where you go, there you are.